Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation. For all the censors out there, we always assure you that we stay well within community guidelines because everything that we state in our podcast is backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies that are published in the public domain. Nothing we're doing is a claim, nothing is made up, it's all safe. It's backed by these 10 peer-reviewed human medical studies. In addition, we've written 4 best-selling books, always some of the top medical doctors in the world, and then all of the complementary comparisons that we're making are also from medical journals and medical studies. Nothing is an opinion, nothing is made up. So Lion joined and Andrew joined. Hello, everybody. So I guess it's the first question of the day. Look at this. All right. So hello, everybody. This is the New Health Conversation. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years, written 4 best-selling books, did 20 shows on PBS and 1,500 live lectures around the world. I'm not telling you that to impress you. I'm just telling you that for 22 of my 23 years, despite all that academia, it meant zero in the medical world until today we're going to go over this. We have 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving that what he did is 100% safe. You can see he's an older gentleman. Just look at his stomach, but that's not the great part of the story. Let me go a little bit deeper and show you what really happened. So he lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in just 30 days. Also, you'll notice his lab work, his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides went from 242 to an astounding 124 in just 30 days. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? And it is absolutely real. It's not photoshopped. It's not AI, etc. Let me show you. Hello, Jane. Hello, Kay. Hello, PT. Let me show you some of the women. So this woman right here, 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches in just 30 days. The thing should impress upon you, look at from her hips up, look at how much she actually shrank. Also, I should point out 2 things. One, no one was allowed to exercise. So that's without any exercise allowed. They actually had to wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising, and not that the researchers were against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate it. Otherwise, you could have said, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, this is revolutionary. This is going to make every diet out there completely obsolete. And then if we come down a little bit farther, wait till you see this one with Julie. She is remarkable in that, look at this. Whoops, hold on. There we go. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. And again, if you look at her body change, now you can think it's Photoshop, you can think it's AI. We don't waste our time doing anything like that. This is backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. It took over 40 years of research to finally crack the code on weight loss and obesity. These studies, which were started 13 years ago, now prove that there is a new method. It has nothing to do with counting calories. It has nothing to do with dieting. The basis of it is really detoxification. But the difference is, instead of saying, oh, well, you can go on a detox, and there's not one shred of medical evidence when they make those claims, we can say that because we have the medical proof where they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving first and foremost that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals from us that we're all storing inside of us, whether you believe it or not. And then this next picture I'm going to show you, this is actually the daughter of a friend of mine, and you'll think it's a different woman. Look at this, everyone. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60. And look at the change in her face, her arms, her body. Do you all think that's the same person? Wow, lots of people. Katina, Wardak, Don Kier, Arthi, Jorge, Claudia, user 972. Oh my gosh, Nora, Riva, Purple. I barely can read them off fast enough. Now look, if I skip your name, it's not I'm being impolite. I've got so much data that I want to share with you. I know I have really limited amounts of times because you're all so busy and you want to see an answer in 10 seconds. But are you all interested in how in the world did she do that? 60 pounds in 3 months. Do the math. That's 5 pounds a week average for 3 months. And that's all the weight she needed to lose. Also, that picture's about 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight off now for 8 or 9 years. So let's go back and let's take a look at Kristen, that I think is someone, reason we can relate to that. She only had 35 pounds to lose, and she lost 21 of the 35 pounds in just the first 30 days. She went on, I believe it was 7 weeks, she did lose the 35 pounds. But look at the change right there in just 30 days. I'd love for anybody to put it in the chat. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's Photoshop? Do you think we were lying? Do you think we made it up? Do you think it's unsafe to lose that much weight that fast? Well, on a diet, number one, it would never happen. So you don't even have to go down that road. But no, this isn't a diet. And because they measured water and they measured lean muscle mass, she lost no water weight, by the way. That's from the research. And instead of losing any lean muscle, she actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. So what did she do? Okay, so I'm going to explain it to all of you right now. What did she do? Well, like I said, this was invented by the top who are considered weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world. They've been 40 years of research, over 100 studies, thousands of people, and they came to one conclusion: no diets work long term. I'm going to show you lots of evidence over here now from Harvard Medical School, from Medicare, from major studies saying that counting calories is dead, over, finished. We never should have had you count calories in the first place. And here's why. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat for me, what's the definition of a calorie? Now, you're all counting calories. I know you are. And if you don't know what a calorie is, why are you counting calories? So I'd love for someone to put an explanation. We'll come back to that, okay? So here's what the research has figured out. All a diet is, has nothing to do with counting calories, by the way, because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. Just like most of you. I didn't know what it was either, so don't feel bad. What they concluded was this: you have a minimum amount, in case you didn't know, of nutrition that your body runs on. It runs your brain, your heart, your kidney, your liver, etc. Nutrition. It doesn't run on calories, okay? The problem with diets is, think about it, when you go on a diet, you're lowering the quantity of food you're consuming. What else you're lowering? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs at maximum, it immediately goes in starvation mode, conservation, stops you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel. Okay, well, that's horrible. It actually makes you unhealthy because, first of all, it slows down your metabolism. The brain doesn't have a choice. There's just not enough fuel to run everything. Okay, and also what it does by losing lean muscle mass, you also slow down your own immune system. So the very diet you're on right now is actually making you unhealthy, believe it or not. So the researchers said, wait a minute. Oh, if nutrition is the key, can we put together new food combinations that no one had ever done before to give you more nutrition and still give you less food? That was the theory. So they put together, everybody here got a food list. You would get the same thing. The food list you would take to your grocery store: proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Now, instead of calorie counting, they gave serving sizes. Very important, because these are the top weight loss, nutrition physiologists in the world who invented this. They don't have any products. People keep asking me, what's the product? There's no product. There's no product. It's food, okay? But these researchers, the brilliant, they put together the foods they wanted to have her sick, but consume, only 30%. The other 70% came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition and small amounts of food as a quantity, okay? And these foods came from Russia, from Mongolia, from Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented these huge amounts of nutrition. So you got 30% of the food you would buy it from the grocery store. 70% of the food you would buy directly from the suppliers, not from us and not from the researchers. And then you would consume them in a completely new way. 5 days a week, she and everybody else had 4 meals a day. Yeah, 4 meals. Starting with these exotic foods around the world, that was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world, okay? Got it? So 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day, exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery list, dinner from the grocery list, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods around the world. Then 2 days a week, she did something that's very new called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating, nothing to do with that. And on those days, no food from the grocery store, but only these food sources from around the world. This time they had her eating 8 times a day. What? Yes, she was eating every hour and a half. Now, if the diabetic listening, just don't worry. Insulin, this blew diabetics away. Insulin came down 41% in the first month. People's hunger came down 41% in a month, and cravings were pretty much gone in like 10 days. The other thing that was so huge about this was the fact that they also were able to prove that this was sustainable. And secondly, the big thing they found in the studies, and they measured it, inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every condition out there, according to the medical world, it came down 25% in a month. This has never been seen before in any diet. I don't care what diet you're on, when you look at the research, 25 to 40% of the success you have on a diet based on the amount of weight you're losing is your lean muscle mass. So let's say you lose 20 pounds, 5 to 8 pounds of the 20 is your lean muscle mass. You're actually making yourself unhealthy by going on these diets, calories in, calories out. Now, I know it's going to probably make some of you mad. There may be trainers on here that think I'm full of it, but I'm only reading from the medical proof. I'm not giving you an opinion. So before people get mad at me, which they do, just take a chill pill and realize that we're only giving you medical proof. We're not making claims. We're not doing anything other than showing you the medical proof. If you're on a diet right now, you're going to be very disappointed when I share the next bit of data with you. Now, these are all major studies. Let's just start with the first one, Harvard Medical School, okay? This is what they're saying. Stop counting calories. This is Harvard Medical School. They went on to say the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. That's exactly what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. That's the first one. Now it gets more interesting. The next one I want to read to you is the science behind why diets don't work, okay? Another big study. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies, calories in, calories out, showing that going on a diet by lowering calories actually causes weight gain. The more someone has tried, the more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain, okay? Let's go to another one. Why you shouldn't count calories. Title of the study. Our researchers found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count, restrict their calories, gain back more weight than they lost. Okay, now the last one, which is probably the most influential, from Medicare. Recent study, Medicare. What are they doing? They're trying to bring healthcare costs down, right? Here's the title, Medicare Search for Effective Obesity Treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers, this is Medicare saying this, our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out restrictive diets to assess whether this form of dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies showed that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any of these diets. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you doing, everybody? I know I'm making a lot of people mad right now. They're going to jump off. Okay, that's up to you. But if you believe in science, wait a minute. Let's slow down for a moment. I have it. I have it right here. Listen to where we are. This is Johns Hopkins Medical School study. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030 in 4.5 years. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like diets are working to any of you? And look at this. And this is the only medical proven. It's got 10 medical studies now behind it. What are you going to do? Count calories, do keto, paleo, maybe lose a pound a week? Maybe. She lost 5 pounds a week with no exercise. I mean, they're all like this. You can look at Curtis. This is a great one. An older gentleman, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days, no exercise. But look at his blood work. Look at lab work. A1C, 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124 in just 30 days. Mama 4, yeah, 80 pounds to lose. Well, listen, Mama 4, look at this. How about that? Tell me, I love your comment, Mama 4. Look at that. 60 pounds. And I know that girl. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. That picture's 8 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 years. All of you, what I would encourage you to do, I'm going to put it, let me go back to the first page. Do you all see that right above his head there in blue? So Mom, do you see that? The new health conversation. It's a free medical website you all can go to. So everybody see it right there in blue above his head. And then guess what, Mom? You get 100% free coaching. No kidding. There's no gimmicks, no tricks. You go there, take a look at what the medical proof. Now, as I was saying before, you're going to be buying food, but you get a very specific foods list developed by the top weight loss researchers in the whole world. Only 30% of what you'd spend is at your grocery store. The other 70% are from these exotic foods from around the world that came from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented huge amounts of nutrition. Like with 60 pounds, I mean, I think you said I want to lose 80 pounds. Okay. I'm going to tell you at a minimum, let's see, June, July, August. How about by Labor Day, you'll be down 80 pounds? How excited would you be about that? That's without any exercise, by the way. No one in these pictures was allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. How much would that excite you, mom of four, California? So we got lots of people coming on, et cetera. But mom, would that excite you? As a matter of fact, imagine in the first 4 days, you'd probably lose about as much weight as you would in a month, 5 to 6 weeks of dieting. That's what creates the interest. But even if you look at Kristen, I mean, how would you like that, mom? In the first month, if you could lose 20 pounds, do you think that would excite you? Would motivate you to continue? But here's the thing, mom, for every one of you, this is about maintenance. This is not a diet. It's not about, can we get the weight off you? Yes, the key is to teach you how to keep it off for the rest of your life. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what should excite everybody. That's what's so rewarding to this whole thing. So again, can we get some more likes? I see we got about 130 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen to get the likes going? Who else would like to ask me a question? Let me show you some of the other, let me show you Andy here, for example. Look at this, everyone. 45 pounds, 60 inches in 30 days. That's not Photoshop. That's real. But look at his blood work, his A1C from 7.9 to 6.2, his LDL cholesterol from 120 to 59 in 30 days. Now, you can think it's Photoshopped. You can think we made it up. You can think we're lying to you. We have no reason to have to lie to you. We are the only site with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. No other weight loss, nutrition, health, exercise. You're following all these influences. You are. I know you are. And they're nice people. And there's medical doctors, and there's chiropractors, and there's dietitians, and nutritionists, and there's workout people, and there's weight loss coaches and health coaches. But are any of them showing you one shred of medical evidence? Look around America. We're going to have 86% of us overweight and obese in 4.5 years. Do you think you really should listen to them anymore? You're entrusting your health to people that are giving you opinions. They're not giving you any medical proof. What are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? I mean, wouldn't you rather do what she did? 20 pounds in 30 days? I mean, it's so... It frustrates me in some sense. We're providing this is the free website right there, the new health conversation. You can see it right there in blue. It's free to go there. We won't contact you if you go there. There's nothing to buy on that site. It's all the medical proof. If you like what you see, only you get to choose. If you want, then scroll down. You get a free coach the whole time, not just initially. They'll coach you all the way and then teach you how to maintain it. Like I've done 40 pounds I lost in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept all these people you're looking at here. They've all kept it off for 8 or 9 years. In some of these studies that were started 13 years ago, they've tracked the people. They've kept the weight off now for 13 years. There's only one reason to do this. Well, there's a bunch of reasons. One is maintenance. I know most of you don't believe this and you think, oh, the guy's full of it. No, I've spent 23 years of my life as a nutritional researcher. I'd like to think that I have a certain amount of credibility when you write 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world. And I did 20 shows on PBS and I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America and did over 1,500 live lectures in universities and hospitals and towns. They even flew me to China. And I'll be honest with you, for 22 of those 23 years in the medical world, that meant zero. As a matter of fact, I got tremendous pushback. Oh, this is unsafe. It's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. Well, this would never happen on a diet, number one. What, have you ever seen anything like this? That's 30 days, he lost 40 pounds. Here's his actual numbers right here. He lost 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days with no exercise. Look at his stomach. Oh, you can think he sucked it in. He didn't. I realize you're all struggling with the fact, is this actually real? Yes, it's absolutely real. It's absolutely real. And we're at 369 likes. Can we get some more taps on the screen? I've been going 19 minutes. We only have 300 likes. Is this material of value to you or not? If it's not, well, then you're on the wrong podcast. If you want to follow these influences that'll give you these fancy platitudes and they'll show you stuff, but how come they don't have any medical proof? Do you even question that? If what they're saying worked, they'd want to have a peer-reviewed human trial medical study. Why? Because it's irrefutable medical evidence. So it's like people want to come on and they argue with me. Don't argue with me. It's not my research. I'm sharing you the research of these researchers. It took them 40 years to figure out this kind of a result. Aren't you interested in that, any of you? How many of you want to lose weight? How many want to feel better? How many would like more energy? How would you just even be able to sleep better at night? Do you know in a month's time on this, you can see some of the results, but blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all came down dramatically in 30 days and for the first time ever in history. Inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease out there, according to the medical world, it came down 25% in a month. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, and making any medical proclamations whatsoever. What we're sharing with you is only what's in the medical studies and the absolute irrefutable medical proof. Is that not good enough for you? I mean, here's the website again for everybody to go to for free. Do you see it? The New Health Conversation. Thanks for tapping. Thanks for giving me more love. Let's get more likes. The New Health Conversation, we want to make it the biggest destination on all of social media. This is real medical proof. It's not hyperbole. Nothing. I didn't do the research. It's not my research. But aren't you a little bit curious? I mean, how did she do this? How about 5 pounds a week? And she only had 35 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds in a month. I'd love for someone to put in the chat. Be honest. If you wanted to lose 20 pounds, say you're not on this podcast, you can pick any trainer, any influencer, any diet name, keto, paleo, I don't care what it is. How long would you give yourself and think you did a great job to lose 20 pounds? I'd love for someone to be honest and put it in the chat for me. Good, we're getting more likes now. We're at 624. Let's get some more taps on there. We have lots of people joining us that are sharing. This is great. They're sharing the information. But again, I'd love someone to comment. What do you think about that picture? Do you think it's fake? Or Julie, it's even more dramatic. Here's Julie. That is 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change from her shoulders to her ankles. Now, you think we can Photoshop that. We didn't. It's not AI. That's absolutely real. That was about 8 years ago. She's kept the weight off now for 8 years. Look at this, everyone. Look at that. What do you think? Is it hard to wrap your head around it because you're used to these terrible diets where after, a few days you're ready to eat your couch? Why? Because you're in a deficit, not of calories. Yeah, see, that's it. I still don't have anybody giving me the definition of a calorie. Not one person. Not one person has given me the definition of a calorie. Yet you're all counting calories. Why? I'm going to put down in the chat line also, hopefully, let me see. Let me know if you can read this, anybody. Health Conversation. Okay, let me make sure I spell it right. Too many news. The New Health Conversation. Okay, we got it. So I'm just posting it down in the chat for all of you. That's the free website, the New Health Conversation. Please, someone put in there, yes, you can read it. If not, we can go back to the very beginning and show you. There's the website also above his head, the New Health Conversation. It's a free website. There's no spaces. If you go there, we will not contact you. No way. We're not contacting you. Because we want to put you in control for once. Go look at the medical proof. If you like it, scroll down and sign up. Free coaching. Did you hear what I said? Free. I have people come on, well, how much is the consultation? No. What don't you understand about free? I know it's hard to believe that something like this exists, but I always say this, just because it wasn't invented doesn't mean it wasn't possible. The researchers who invented this, it took them 40 years to figure it out. 40. And they never produced any result like this. How many of you, like I said, I'm still waiting for someone to tell me, if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, how long would you get? Oh, we're at 1,000 likes. Thank you all very, very much. But I'm like, I'd like to implore you. I can't order you. You don't work for me. I don't have anything to sell you. But for your own benefit, why wouldn't you at least go and look at the website and look at the medical proof? Why wouldn't you do that? And we're not even going to contact you. You're in control. You're following these influencers. They're not giving you one shred of medical evidence, and yet you're following them. But let me show you something else that should concern you even more. Did you all see the article? A study came out about a month ago. They're now finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. Well, it's way worse than that, and I'm the one that started this. I discovered a medical syndrome. It's called TDOS. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Now, what does it mean? It means that we're all storing chemicals inside the fat cells in our body. That's why people complain not just about how much weight they've gained, but how much fat they have in their body. So it's actually, and by the way, don't let anybody tell you burn fat. Total rubbish. No such thing. You're born with a certain amount of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and your fat cells either expand or they contract. And the tragedy is most people that are overweight, the fat cells are expanding. You don't have more of them, but they're bigger. And here's why. As you ingest the chemical, the first thing the body does is present it to our liver. Well, our livers are overwhelmed. They're estimating now 35% of Americans have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's not from drinking alcohol. That's from the chemicals in our livers. So then when the liver can't handle it, as the chemical comes in, the body, to protect us, takes the chemical and stuffs it in your fat cells, and those fat cells expand. Look at his stomach. Why did that happen? Because of detox. Because this protocol, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proved that it will assist your body in removing the chemicals. All the pictures, you can see how much they shrank. Look at her, look at from her hips up. How do you Photoshop that? I mean, I guess you could. I don't. We have no. Why would we do it? We have medical proof. Nobody else has. We're the 500-pound gorilla in the corner. We're the competition. And yet you're all going to go. I know most of you are going to go back and do paleo and keto and Mediterranean or celebrity diet or the shots or whatever they are. We're not arguing that you'll lose weight initially. But did you realize that going on a diet, I don't care what the hell the name of it is, you're making yourself unbelievably unhealthy? Did you know that? No, I'm not crazy. Let me give you the medical proof. Here's how the body works. You have a minimum amount, not of calories, of nutrition that your brain uses then to distribute to run all your organs, your heart, kidney, liver, etc. When you go on a diet, think about what you're doing. You're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. That's all a diet is. I don't care what the hell they say. That's what it is. Well, what else are you reducing? Did you ever even think about it? You're reducing nutrition. The brain then senses, oh my God, there's not enough nutrition. It goes in starvation mode, emergency, immediately stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cell. It doesn't burn the fat cell, but you get energy from inside the fat cell. Well, that gets turned off. So now what? The body needs fuel. So the brain then begins to convert your muscles into fuel and do two of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself. One, you slow down your metabolism. You all know the yo-yo thing. That's why you're yo-yoing. You've lost lean muscle. And when you do, your body slows down your metabolism. I don't give a damn what you do. That's what's happening. But the other thing it's doing that's even way worse, by losing lean muscle mass, you slow down your own metabolism. And sadly, I can address this. My younger brother, in 2011, was diagnosed with kidney cancer. He's 6'4", and in the time from he was diagnosed until he passed away, it was less than a year. When he passed away, he weighed 115 pounds. He was skin and bones. So obviously, this is really a serious thing. What we've been told for years is just totally wrong. Counting calories is the most unhealthy thing you could ever do to yourself. Because you're ignoring the only thing your body cares about. It doesn't know what a calorie is. I'm still waiting all this time. No one's been able to give me the definition of a calorie. Why are you all counting calories? Why? Really? Why? And yet you all can go and see see right above his head in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. I don't know how many more times I need to explain it to you. And we won't contact you if you go there. But you can get a free coach if you want. So, wow, lots of encouraged viewers. Can we get some more taps? We're stuck at 1,000 likes. Come on, everybody. I know you can tap on this. If you like the content. If you don't, then you're on the wrong podcast. Because we're going to give you scientific proof. We're not giving you hyperbole. This isn't an infomercial. This is live. This is not pre-recorded. I mean, I just feel so strongly that all of you have the right to know, how is this possible? I mean, how did April do this? Look at, how did she lose 60 pounds in 3 months? Just ponder that for a few moments. That's 5 pounds a week for 3 months. But look at the change in her body. So many people think that's a different girl. We put a model in there and bought her the same dress. No, it's her. It's the same. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. I mean, I guess you could think I'd be that corrupt that I would modify the picture. Why would we don't need to do that? That's the point. We have the only medical proof. Nobody else does that I can find. Maybe I'm ready to be wrong. I can't be everywhere, but I've been across social media and know most of the major people that I see. They're giving you chiropractors and some of them got 8, 9, 10 million followers. Following to do what? Like I'll give you one example. Like they're talking about the keto diet. That's one of the ones that's being banded around. Okay. Well, let's look at the medical evidence about keto diets. This is a big study done in Nutrients where they said exposure to low carbohydrate diets is associated with big reductions in lean muscle mass and an increased osteoporosis risk in obese individuals. Woo, let's do that keto diet. Do you understand every one of these diets is making you unhealthy to some degree? Now I know it's good to fit in your skinny jeans, or now it's summer and you want to look good in your bathing suit or your shorts or whatever it is. But why not lose weight like 10 times faster than diet and have it be healthy? Because they weren't allowed to exercise. That picture's 8 or 9 years old. She just kept the weight off. No loss of water. She gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise allowed. Again, I'd love anybody to comment on that. Do you think it's the same woman? And we got 1,100 likes. Come on, let's get some more taps on the screen. Let's get this thing going. Oh, good. Finally, someone said, how? I love it. Okay, evil toad. I'm going to explain it to you and everybody else. Okay, so what did she do? How is this even possible? Well, the researchers who created this evil toad and everybody else, they had done 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people on every diet we could probably name, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, whatever. And they came to several conclusions. One, on every diet, people lost weight initially. Hell, they said you could lose weight on the Dunkin' Donut diet. I'm not kidding you, you could. But what kind of weight are you losing, right? But the tragedy was that although people lost weight always initially, 2/3 of them ended up weighing more than they started in the long run. And that's the only thing you should care about. And the problem with the diet up to this point has been all of you are counting calories. Well, the problem with that, the human body doesn't know what a calorie is. So the researchers realized the only thing that matters to our body, you should know this, it's not calories, it's nutrition. And we have a minimum amount, let's call it a floor of nutrition we need in order for there to be enough fuel to run all of our organs, our brain, kidney, liver, heart, at optimum levels, okay? When you go on a diet, think about what you're really doing. You're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, and therefore you're reducing what? The amount of nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode, prevents you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why they gain all the weight back and more. But also it slows down your own immune system, okay? So the researchers, what they did, they said, we need to put together new food groups which would represent, first and foremost, massive amounts of nutrition, not massive amounts of quantity. So the researchers created, she got a grocery list. You would get a grocery list. But only 30% of the food she consumed in a whole month came from her grocery store, okay? Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. And instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. Remember, these are the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They picked the foods, they picked the amounts, so there was no guesswork. There'd be no guesswork for you. Then the second thing that they did, because she now only had 30% of what she was going to eat in a month, the other 70% of the food she bought came from these other researchers. The people who created this have no products. There is no product. So people say, what's the product? There's no product. This is food, okay? And so the researchers who have no food, they don't sell anything. They're scientists. We don't sell you anything. The other 70% you buy directly from the suppliers who've gone around the world for 20 years to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And those were the ingredients that they used. And then they created 2 new ways for her to consume food. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. Yep. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch, all the food from the grocery store. Dinner, all the food from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods. So let's review. 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. Started with these exotic foods for breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list that you would get. Dinner from the grocery store list. And the 4th meal from these foods from around the world. Then 2 days a week, she did something, this will be crazy, it'll make you crazy when I tell you this. Listen carefully though. Intermittent nutritional fasting, not fat. Don't hear fasting. It's not fasting. It's not water fasting. It's not time restricted eating. On those days, absolutely no food from the grocery store. Only these nutrient-dense, rich foods from around the world. But this time, on 2 days a week, she was eating 8 times a day. What? Yeah, 8 times a day. So about every hour and a half, she was having these exotic foods and no food from the grocery store. Well, those are the results. But also in a month's time, when they measured water and lean muscle, number one, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle without doing any exercise at all. And then many of the other people experienced massive reductions in blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, just in 30 days. And for the first time ever, they proved that they measured, lowered inflammation by 25% in a month. Those are that stiffness and the aches and pains. Look, the medical world now saying inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease out there. We're not making a claim, okay? We're not treating, diagnosing, making enema. We're just reading. These are the actual results in the medical studies, okay? Now, does that sound interesting to you? And again, you can see the medical proof right there. See it in blue above his head. The New Health Conversation. That's the website. You go there, we won't contact you. It's free to go there. Because the idea, we want to put you in control. Look at the medical evidence. If you like it, scroll down, you get a free coach. If not, you don't have to do anything. Because we're not going to contact you if you go there. We don't have time. It's not fair to you. Why should we have to convince you or sell you if the medical proof is what we're saying it is, which it is? See, when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it's what's called in the medical world irrefutable medical proof. Irrefutable. Ironclad, bulletproof. And people, sometimes they want to come on my podcast and they want to argue with me. But they're really arguing with science. And of course, then they don't have any backup. They have opinions. They tell me, well, of course, everybody knows that losing weight is calories in, calories out. Really? Is that really the answer? When Johns Hopkins Medical School study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese, and Medicare is saying Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments, diets are not the answer. Our researchers from Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out diets to assess whether this method of calories in, calories out was an effective treatment for obesity. They found in the studies 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. So what are you doing? I mean, seriously, what are you doing? Well, according to the research, you're wasting your time. 2/3 of you are going to end up weighing more than when you started. You'd be better off not even going on a diet at all. Just stay where you are at least. At least you know where you are. Say you weigh 180 pounds. Do you want to weigh 200 after you dieted? Because that's what's happening. It's not my opinion. These are what they're seeing this. Study after study, 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than you lost because mainly up to 40% of what you're losing is your lean muscle mass, which by definition slows down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. Do you understand this, everybody? Do you get it? Jamil, okay, I just went over the secret, user how, evil toad. Okay, no, I'm going to tell you user, and I'm going to tell you Jamil. So let's go back and look at Kristen, okay? This is more, so you can see 21 pounds in a month, 30 days. Here's what she did. She didn't do it. The researchers created this. Let me say one thing. The researchers who created this, just to let you all know, they're the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, and they figured out why diets don't work. It was pretty simple. It had nothing to do with counting calories. It had nothing to do with exercise. It had to do with this very simple fact of the human body and how it works. The body only runs on nutrition. You have a minimum amount of nutrition that you need to satisfy the brain, that all the organs, heart, kidney, liver, can operate at maximum efficiency. When you go on a diet, think about what you're doing. You're reducing the quantity of the food you're consuming. You're reducing the amount of nutrition that triggers the starvation mean in the brain, and the brain begins to convert your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these diets. That's why 2/3 of people are gaining more than they lost, and it also slows down your own immune system. So the very diet you're on at this very moment, you're making yourself unhealthy unknowingly. I don't think you do it on purpose, but that's what's going on. So the researchers said the key to this has to be nutrition. The researchers were saying this, can they find foods with large amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity? That was the goal. So what they did, they developed a grocery list that she got. She took it to her grocery store, organic foods, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Got that? So 30% of what you would purchase, you'd purchase from your grocery store. The other 70% you buy directly from the researchers, not the ones who created this, but other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to find food sources in places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented huge amounts of nutrition, no herbicides, no pesticides, but not huge quantities of food. So now they had 30% of the food from the grocery store, 70% you would purchase from these researchers around the world. Then they created 2 new ways of consuming the food based on these new models based on nutrition. So 5 days a week, she and everybody else, and you would get 4 meals a day. You'd start with these foods from around the world. You'd have lunch from the grocery store, you'd have dinner from the grocery store, and you'd have a 4th meal from these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, that's called protein pacing. 2 days a week, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she had 8 servings a day. She was eating every hour and a half. And everybody, look at the results. Look at the results. Oh, Evil Toad. Evil Toad, did you get to see the website so you know the website you can go to if you choose? Let me put it up there one more second before you leave. Everybody, the New Health Conversation, that's the website where you can see the medical proof. If you like what you see, you can get a free coach. So let me finish with what I was saying. Bye, Evil Toad. Have a great day. So Jamil or user, does that make sense to you? Do you have any questions about that? Because it's not just her. Look, I mean, look what's going on here. Look at Julie, everyone. That's 35 pounds in 37 days. It's not a misprint. Look, and look, they haven't, look at her body, everybody. Look at that. Now, you can think it's Photoshopped. You can think it's AI. You can think it's fake. You can say it's unhealthy. No, it's not unhealthy because the medical studies are there to prove it. And here's the other thing that you're all suffering from, including me. This new medical syndrome. It's called TDOS. What does it mean? T, toxicity. D, deficiency. O, overweight. S for stress. What it means is we're storing chemicals inside our body. They just showed us a month ago a study coming out showing microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries, along with herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon, stored inside your body, my body, inside our fat cells. That's why it's not just how much overweight people are, it's the amount of fat they have in their body that they complain to us. No diet touches this. They did in these studies, blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, proving this was assisting the body in removing this. That's why she shrank. The body, as a last resort, takes the chemical and stuffs it in your fat cell. And don't let anybody tell you burn fat on these diets or on exercise. Nonsense. Dog water. Hogwash. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with a certain number of fat cells. Now, those fat cells can expand or they can contract. We can see there, obviously, they contracted on her. That's not Photoshopped. Yeah, I get really emotional. I get excited about this because you all have a chance to hit the reset button for the rest of your life. You know what this program is called? R2M, Race to Maintenance. It's not a question, can we get the weight off you? Hell, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, but that was 23 years ago. I kept it off for 23 years. That picture there is about 8 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 years. Aren't you interested, all of you, in this? Aren't you like going like, what is this? Look, can you take the chance that this is real and you take a pass? Because that's what most of you are doing. You're going back to paleo, keto, Mediterranean, whatever diet you think you're on. You think you're going to beat the scientists? I mean, when you got people like Harvard Medical School saying stop counting calories, they even said, most people have been taught that, this is Harvard, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500, you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. This is Harvard Medical School, for crying out loud, not me. And then they went on. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said, it's time to concentrate what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. These research have nothing to do with Harvard, but that's exactly what they did. What she's saying is the only thing that matters to your body is nutrition. When you limit food, normal food, you're limiting nutrition. That's why these researchers couldn't rely just on food in North America, because our food in North America is all but nutritionally bankrupt, even if it's organic. I mean, Cornell University did a study on iron levels in spinach from 1953 to 2000. They say those iron levels in spinach, you ready for this, have decreased, you ready for everybody? By 4,300%. Wow, a bowl of spinach in 1953 would be about 30 bowls of spinach today. You're just kidding yourselves. You're kidding yourselves. You're following influencers. I know you are. They're nice people. I'm not going to disparage them. But why aren't they showing you any medical proof for what they're talking about? Why aren't they? Because they don't have any. Do you get it? Because for 22 of my 23 years, I wrote 4 best-selling books. I did 20 shows on PBS. I did 1,500 live lectures all over the world. And in the medical world, all of that, you know what it meant in the medical world? Zero. Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies. So the doctors are saying, oh, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. Well, they didn't understand it wasn't a diet. It wasn't until about 15, 16 months ago when these medical studies, which take a long time to get done, came out. Now we got doctors and PAs, and we don't even have to argue with people. They look at the medical studies and say, okay, this is safe, this is revolutionary, we want to try it with our patients. Or you want to try it with yourself or your sister or your brother or whoever it might be. No, Marissa, that won't help you. Because the soil in North America, you've heard of acid rain, you've heard all that. We've depleted the nutrients in the soil in North America to the extent where even with your best intentions, you're not going to equal what these other foods that they found from around the world. No herbicides, no pesticides. I mean, some of the nutrients, to give you an idea, Marissa, they're not available in the soil in North America, let alone so there's two issues, the amount of the nutrients and the nutritional density, and then the uniqueness of, for example, some of the nutrients come from Mongolia and another group come from Tibet. And in the medical studies, those were attributed with lowering stress, but more importantly, they lowered inflammation by 25% in 30 days. So growing your own would have no impact on this, because it's not just what you're going to eat. It's when you're eating, how much you're eating, what are the sizes, what's the sequence of eating. We teach you all that. As a matter of fact, what the researchers developed, they taught the patients. It's called the Blueprint for Success. And what they were able to do, the yellows there, they're all daily videos explaining to you why this isn't a diet, why it's safe. This is all free. It's all part of what you do. We coach you for free. We don't sell you anything. The researchers don't sell you anything. You get to buy 30% of your food from the grocery store. You get the grocery list that's included here in the blueprint. And then the other foods you buy from around the world, the coaches will show you how to buy directly from them, not from the coaches. And then but what do you think about that? Marissa, what do you think about that picture? Do you think it's the same woman? Do you think it's Photoshop? Do you think we're faking you out? Or my friend's daughter, this is the one that people really think we got a different model, right? Let me show you. I mean, imagine 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. She lost no water weight, and she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I mean, please show me anybody. Would anybody like to comment, question, whatever? We're almost at an hour. I'm going to go, let's see, I'll go another maybe 15 minutes or so, and we're at 1,400 likes. Can we get some more likes? Who else would like to ask me a question? Or Marissa, did that answer your question? If not, I'm happy here. It's live. I'll answer anybody's questions, whatever. But here's the other thing, Marissa. You can go and see the medical proof. You see it right above his head there, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. There's nothing on there to buy, only the medical proof. And you see right above it, above the blue there, it says free coaching. It is free coaching. So if you go there, you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach, and they'll coach you all the way through and teach you. I mean, we have people that need to lose 200 pounds. So the coaches have been coaching them for months on end. Although, it's kind of like eventually we teach you how to ride a bike and you don't need us to hold the handlebars anymore, and boom, we got coached. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago, Marissa. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what should excite you. But the other part of this is so important is that they proved medically, okay, in the studies that they were attacking toxins being in our body. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals. That's why he shrank. If you look at his stomach on day 1, that's the fat cell expanded because of the chemicals that were stored inside those fat cells. Well, obviously something happened in 30 days because he didn't do any exercise. It wasn't due to sit-ups and crunches. But any of you, imagine, Kurt, where is he? Yeah. So the real numbers, he lost 40, almost 41 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. But look at his lab work. Look at his blood work. A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. Would anybody believe, again, it's okay. Say what you think. Did we Photoshop that? Is it a different man? I mean, we don't have to make up anything. So who else would like to ask me a question? We're at 1,400 likes. Come on, let's get some more taps. Let's get to at least a couple thousand here before I close this out in about another 10 or 11 minutes. I think that I'm going to show some of you now to show you it's not a diet. This is an athlete. This is someone who did exercise. Curtis and everybody else I've showed you so far, they weren't allowed to exercise. But if you exercise, this is what's possible. This is exactly 11 days. So day 1, pretty darn good shape. But look at that. When it says day 5, that's the morning of day 5, so it's only 4 days. And then look at day 12, it's the morning of day 12, that's 11 days. Look at that transformation. Now that's with exercise, don't kid yourself, it is. But look at that in 11 days. You think this is a diet? You think that happens on diets? You think you could do that in the gym in 11 days? Really? Really? Now you could say, oh, we photoshopped that. Well, this is a little more personal. You see, I kind of know that person you're looking at right there. That's my youngest son. That's real. Now you could think we're so devious, we'd Photoshop our own kids' pictures. Well, we don't have to do that. I mean, the thing I'm fighting right now is your skepticism. I get it. It's okay. But how are you arguing that when we've got people, when we have like Medicare saying, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments, diets are not the answer. They went on to say, our research has reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out to assess whether dieting is an effect. When they said dieting, they meant calories in, calories out, an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any of these diets. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you doing? They're telling you. They did the research. 2/3 of people on diets are gaining more than they lost. I said it before. Hell, you might as well just stay where you are. Don't even go on a diet. Do you see how detrimental, and you're making yourself unbelievably unhealthy, because typically what you're losing on a diet, not typically, proven, about 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass. Now let's take a look at the shots, okay? Now again, I'm not against the shots, the GLP-1s, Ozempic, semaglutide, triepazide, whatever it is. But all we're doing as researchers is reading from the medical studies that you all can go and look up. If you're on the shot, just be aware. New England Journal of Medicine, once weekly semaglutide for 68 weeks. That's a year and 4 months, okay? The weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds, and 40% of the weight loss was lean muscle mass. Well, she didn't get the memo, did she? She lost 21 pounds in a month. Now, if you're a diabetic and you're morbidly obese, the shots can help you. But understand that a great part of what you're losing is your lean muscle mass. And it looks like unless people stay on the shots forever, when they come off the shots, we're seeing them gain as much as a half a pound a day. And then a more conclusive study on diets in general, 12 months. This one was done in the Journal of the American Medical Association, right? Now keep in mind, none of this is my opinion. You all have opinions, but your opinions, unless they're based on peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, they don't have any validity at all. Sorry to tell you that. Now, you may have lost weight, you may be good, but that doesn't mean anything in the medical world, unless you have the blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes, I mean, a whole battery of tests to determine how effective was it really. But this was 12 months. Title of the study, Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Individuals. They looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people, and named all the major diets in this study. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, the Cornish diet, the zone diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Noom, Zoom, on and on and on. After 12 months comparing all these diets, and they found a diet that produced the most amount of weight loss down to the diet with the least amount of weight loss. The difference in weight loss in 1 year, everybody, was 10 ounces. 10 ounces. And they said right in the study that people lost 16 pounds in a year, and up to 40% of what people were losing was lean muscle mass. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? I'm fully supportive because before this podcast today, how do I join? I have nothing to lose but weight. Let me ask you, okay, hold on. I'm going to put it right under your name, UCM Growing, okay? So it's the new. Now, what I'm typing for you is the website where you can go to, okay? Just a second. Can you let me know, UCM, can you read that right below your name? The New Health Conversation, okay? Can you read it? Give me a yes or no. If you can, I'll show you the website on the first slide that I have here. You can read it. Great. And there's no spaces. What you're looking at right there, that's my TikTok handle. So don't do the spaces like it is there. Just do the New Health Conversation, no spaces. And when you go there, you see, here's what I'm going to tell you. We will not contact you. Are you clear? We don't do that. You get to look at all the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down. You get a free coach for the whole time. It's free. They're going to show you the grocery list that you're going to buy your food from the grocery store. The other 70% you buy directly from the suppliers who supplied to these studies, not from the researchers and not from us. You don't buy anything from us. And you're going to get coached for free. How much would you like to lose? I'm just curious, UCM, and I'll tell you a realistic timeline with no exercise. If you exercise, it can be even better. But how much would you like to lose? Oh, good. I understand. Thank you. Yeah. But I'm just curious. If you don't want to, it's fine. But I'm just 30. Okay. Well, look at her. Do you see that? You see? How excited would you be for 20 pounds in a month? That's not unusual. What I'm showing you there is not unusual. So how excited would you be if you could lose 20 pounds in the first month? Would that excite you a lot? I'll bet. I know it sounds too good to be true to you and everybody else, but you have to understand, we have the medical proof to back it up. And she's kept the weight off for 8 years. That's the only reason to do this is for maintenance. It's not, can we get the weight? Absolutely, yes. So are you excited to go to the website and see the medical proof? And did you get so you understand what I was saying? Does it make sense that losing weight has nothing to do with weight loss? With counting calories. That's what I was going to tell you. Well, anyway, I encourage all of you to go there. It's free. Hey, we're at 1,700 likes. Can we get some more taps and get to 2,000? I'm going to quit in about another 5 minutes. I took the shot, became off it, and gained all my weight back in 2. So you see, do I have credibility with you? Reading from the study, saying what's going on. Do you agree with me? The shot is a temporary, it's nothing but a low-calorie diet. That's all it is. It's low-calorie diet. It's not anything but that. Sorry to tell you, everybody. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not against the shot. Diabetics, they don't have a choice. They really do need to be taking it, or people that are morbidly obese. But it's not this. Yeah. Good, you see, McGrowth. I mean, you see, I'll tell you what you would anticipate. Probably in the first 4 days, you'll lose as much weight as a month on any diet or the shot. In 4 days, how much would that incentivize you to keep going? Or any of you? Any of you? Aren't you intrigued? And let me go back for everybody. Look right at the top. Here's the website, everybody, in blue above his head, the New Health Conference. Oh, by the way, Curtis, let's look at him. He lost 40 pounds. 52 inches in 30 days, and look at his lab work. A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. Hello, welcome. Shh. Is this crazy, or is it just me? So would anybody else like to ask me a question? Can we get a few more likes? We're at 1,700. I'd like to get to 2,000. Hello, Miss Tracy. Again, can we get some taps on that screen to get to 2,000? I don't see any hearts coming up there. You all understand, you get a chance to hit the reset button. You get a chance to change everything. Everything. Now, you don't have to believe me. Go to Women's World. the latest issue. And on the cover, a daughter, 57 years old, a nurse, her mom, 80. The daughter lost 57 pounds in a few months. The mom has lost 91 pounds in 8 months. She was unable to climb a flight of stairs 8 months ago. Now she's playing pickleball 3 times a week, swimming 3 times a week, and she's walking 4 to 5 miles a day. That's what you want to be talking. So you don't have to believe me. You go to Women's World. I think it came out today, actually. It's on the cover. The daughter, who's a nurse, 57, she weighs less than she did in high school. And they started this 2.5 years ago. They've kept it off now for 2.5 years. But the initial weight loss was very dramatic for all of you. You don't have to go. You can get it online. You can go see it online or buy it on the newsstand. Women's World. It's been around for over, I think, 70 years. It's the most watched or most read women's magazine in the world. To be on the cover, sounds pretty good to me. With this protocol. So who else? Oh, we're at 2,000 now. Thank you all. So doesn't this excite all of you? How about 20 pounds actually 21 pounds in a week? Oh, well, thank you all. I'm at 2,100 likes now. That's great. So here's the thing. So let's see, 9:30, 10. I will come back on probably around noon Eastern Standard Time today with a new podcast. But one thing I want to impress upon all of you, you can send any of your friends to that website. It's free to go there. They don't have to be on my podcast to go to the website. That's for the world. The New Health Conversation is for all of you out there in the world, because I know we have people watching us from all over. We've got them in Slovenia, and we've got them in Great Britain and Ireland and Scotland and Finland, and we have people in New Zealand and South America who either are watching this live or they're watching the rebroadcast on other social media platforms, because a lot of people are copying this and sharing it with their friends, et cetera. But all of you, go to that Women's World. It's Women's World. I'm pretty sure it came out today. You'll see a mother-daughter on the cover. Cindy and Cindy. No, Cindy and Linda. Cindy's the daughter, Linda's the mom, okay? Well, Amanda, what's the secret? Okay, here's the secret. Let me go back to Kristen. It's great that you came on, because I was almost going to stop, but I'll stay now. So, Amanda, what they did, first of all, who invented this? It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. They figured out why diets don't work. Diets have nothing to do with counting calories. The only thing our body cares about and knows is nutrition. And the problem is that we have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order for our brain to figure out there's enough fuel to run all our organs, heart, kidney, liver, lungs, etc. When you go on a diet, what you're doing, they don't tell you, when you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, nothing to do with calories, you're reducing nutrition. When that happens, is what the researchers figured out, the brain goes in starvation mode, stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back on these diets. But worse, by losing lean muscle, which you do on every diet, you slow down your own immune system. So the researchers, they said, can we come up with new food groups with high amounts of nutrition, but not high amounts of quantity? So they created a grocery list that she got, you'd take it to the grocery store. Developed by these researchers, not based on calories, based on serving sizes, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruit. 30% of what she consumed, or all these people consumed in a month, came from your grocery store, organic foods. The other 70%, here's what separates it. The researchers, because they don't sell anything, there's no product involved here. There's no product. You're buying food, okay? But the other 70% of the food you'd buy comes from other researchers who've gone around the world and found foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantity. And those came from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. So now they had the ingredients, right? They had 30% from the grocery, 70% from these foods around the world. Then they had to invent, using those foods, this new model, how would we feed people? Well, 5 days a week, she and everybody else had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast. Lunch came from the grocery store. Dinner came from the grocery store list I'm talking about, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. So not an option. It's not like you're going to have 3 meals. No, you got to have 4 meals, because what they're doing is something called protein pacing. So they figured out how to spread the nutrition out, including the elements within protein, so that people didn't get hungry. We work with people at 500 pounds, they're not hungry. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, they did something, or she did, called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, Amanda, only these foods from around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. Yep, she was eating every hour and a half, only these foods, exotic foods from around the world. And I rest my case, there are the results. Now, what's also interesting about that, Amanda, no one, including her, was allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. And in a month's time, in everybody's case, that she lost no water weight and actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass without going to the gym. No one was allowed to exercise, okay? But it gets even more exciting. That picture's 8 years old. She's maintained that for 8 years, because it's not just that and actually, if you decide to do it, you get a coach for free. The coach's job is to get the weight off you and then teach you how to keep it off for the rest of your life. Amanda, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what you want to shoot for. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's a good enough explanation. But also on the website, it's even more detailed. There's a 20-minute video going through and showing you, for example, this is what everybody used. This is what they use in the medical trials. It's called the Blueprint for Success. And each one of these yellows here is a daily video explaining to you why you're doing what you're doing and why it's safe and the medical proof. And the researchers who put this together, they don't have any product. They don't have a company. They're scientists. We don't sell anything to you. So you're buying 30% of your food from the grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. And cost-wise, you're going to probably spend about what you're spending now in a month, because you're only spending 30% of what you spent last month at the grocery store. 70% of what you didn't spend goes towards buying these elements from around the world. But again, you look at the results. It's crazy, right? I don't know if you saw this one, Amanda. That's the daughter of a friend of mine. That's not Photoshop. She really lost 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her waist area. That's with no exercise. Amanda, there's nothing like this on the planet. This is not a diet. I mean, if anything, we know that diet, well, I wrote the book on it. In 2010, this was a big bestseller called Why Diets Are Failing Us. And essentially we said, why are we counting calories when the human body has no idea what a calorie is? Why aren't we concentrating on nutrition? And now we've been proved right. There's 10, Amanda, on that website are the medical studies. You get to see them. It's irrefutable medical proof. Or you can do whatever you were doing before you came in here, and whatever diet you've been on, thinking about, we're on, whatever. But none of them, according to all the medical research, none of them work long term. None of them, zero. And 2/3 of the people gain more weight than they lost. That's an absolute fact, right? So would anybody else? We're 2,100 likes. That's really great, everybody. If you get a few more taps, that'd be great. Who would like to ask me a question? Because I got to end this here in a couple minutes, and then I'll do another live probably around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You're welcome to invite anybody to that. But the most important thing you all can do, forget about me for a moment. That website has the medical proof. If you go there, Amanda, we will not contact you. We don't do that. Why would we need to? If the medical proof is as good as I'm saying it is, you'll convince yourself that you want to at least do a consultation with whether the consultation or the coaching is free the whole time. So they don't charge you for consultation and then they coach you for free. I see some of these people trying to sell you apps where you're going to get recipes and then you get a coach. But they don't have one shred of medical evidence. They're telling you, oh, you can lose 20 pounds in a month and it's mostly fat. That right there is a complete lie. There's no such thing as burning fat. You're born with a certain amount of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and they can expand or contract. That's it. Anybody telling you you're burning fat in the gym or on a diet, they're lying to you. It's not true. And based on the fact we have a projection in 4.5 years, 86% of America is going to be overweight or obese. Do you think you should reevaluate what you're doing, thinking about doing, or what you did do, and stop blaming yourself? Yeah, you lost weight and gained it all back because it was a completely non-starter. What you were doing, there was no way it was going to work long term. No, zero. In 1964, we had 15% of America overweight or obese. In 1964, by 2030, in 4.5 years, they're saying 86% of America is going to be overweight. My God, do the math. That's like a 550% increase. Go to Barnes & Noble, look at how many diet books there are. If any of them worked, you'd have $1 trillion company. And for all of you, they did a huge analysis they did a 1-year study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, where they looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people, and they named all the major diets in this study after 12 months to show you how ineffective diets are when they compared the most amount of weight loss on any diet in a year to the least amount of weight loss on any diet in a year. The only difference in a year was 10 ounces. And the weight loss was 16 pounds in a year, and up to 40% of what people lost was lean muscle mass. We just keep redefining the definition of insanity. And for some reason, we think it's going to change. It's going to be different. How many diets have some of you been on? I just had someone talking about the shot. What'd she say? I took the shot, came off it, and gained all my weight back in 2 months. I don't know the person. I mean, I don't have to make things up. I'm a researcher, but it's not my research. I'm the researcher of the researcher. I'm just sharing with you the actual medical proof about everything we're talking about. I hope you'll be encouraged. I hope you'll be motivated. At least go and look at the medical proof. Why wouldn't you do that? There's nobody else on social media showing you peer-reviewed human trial studies that I can see. They'll say, oh, we got a scientific paper. Oh, there's an ingredient here that's scientifically tested. That doesn't mean a damn thing. It's just marketing, gibbly-gooble, whatever. You want real science? Go to that website. You want a real solution? Go to that website. You want something that's proven to be safe? Go to that website. If not, do paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, carbs recycling, count your macros. It's all nonsense. Nonsense, because the food they're giving you is almost nutritionally bankrupt. That's why they limited the amount of food he consumed in a month, only 30% from the United States, from organic sources even. That's not sufficient. That's why people are hungry all the time. Not for more calories, for more nutrition, my God. Does this make sense? I'd like a yes or a no, or tell me to shut up or whatever. I'm not going to shut up, though. Somebody has to be your advocate. Somebody has to stand up for you. If I can make a difference in one of your lives, if you'll go there and see it and get a coach and have an incredible result. Every Thursday night, we have a results call. People come on and they just share their stories. It's unbelievable. Even after 23 years of research, I hear these stories and go, oh my God, it's really simple. If you could, which these people did, give your body massive amounts of nutrition in the least amount of food, your body's going to work better in every aspect. You're just kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself being on these diets, counting calories. It's total hogwash. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Go look at real medical proof, not hyperbole, not hype. Or not. Or go back to your diet and then, hey, that guy was right. I gained back all my weight. Or I weigh more than when I started. Why the heck did you go on a diet in the first place if you're going to end up weighing more than when you started? My mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I loved her. It didn't matter. I saw her get fat shamed. And I'll close with this. So 24 years ago, she called me up one day and said, you know, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. And I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 24 hours thin. I went, well, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I loved my mom. I saw her cry. I'd see her go to Weight Watchers. You know, she'd lose 4 ounces in a week and she'd get a blue star or whatever it was. Because that's the norm. That's what we thought was cool. You're all being told now, you know, don't lose more than like a pound a week on a diet because it's unhealthy. Yeah, because you're losing lean muscle mass. Well, I mean, Kristen, look at this. She lost 5 pounds a week. Well, Curtis, let's go back to Curtis. He lost 10 pounds a week. Look at his stomach. Does he look unhealthy? Look at his blood work. Does that look like he's unhealthy? A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days. There's nothing like this on the planet. Nothing. And you can go right there to the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof or not. So who else would like to add? Well, no, I'm gonna end. Otherwise, it's a never-ending battle, and I do have to go. So everybody have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whatever part of the world you're watching. And I'm just inviting you to go to that website, the New Health Conversation. You got it? All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to come back on around, like I said, around noon Eastern Standard Time today. If you can make it, or you just got on late, or you want to send somebody here. Bye, everyone.